Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. Keeping socially distant, right? Wearing your mask. Obviously, I'm at home here. Don't really need to wear one. But I wanted to kind of talk about some things here. The U.S. has given a stimulus to people, and a lot of those people never received that stimulus, whether they had child support, whether they had debt, stuff like that. That stimulus went to that debt, which is fine. Obviously you got to pay your debts. It's part of living in our country, right? And they're about to issue another stimulus, but a lot of people that are on unemployment, that are relying on this unemployment to function, are going to lose that extra assistance from the government. And let's look at this realistically. Let's really, really dissect this, okay? And I'd like to see your comments, on this. And I'm no expert. I'm just a normal guy. I'm an artist, but obviously art doesn't pay the bill. One on the rights, my wife did that one. So anyway, the reality is that this money that people are receiving, this extra $600, is a lifeline. It's like oxygen. It's like if you're diving and you have this tube of oxygen that's keeping you alive, right? And the pressure that's holding you down is basically the coronavirus, right? It's a lot of people that are on unemployment could go find another job. I'm not saying that they can't, but like my wife and I, we both believe that corona is real. We both believe that it is affecting people, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't believe that. They think it's a hoax, and they think it's people should be working, and they should be working in offices with a bunch of other people, and blah 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 blah. Okay, that's their opinion, right? But the reality is there's a lot of people that don't want to put themselves in that situation, right? And so they're staying on unemployment. So yes, that is a reality, and they're not returning to work for that reason. But at the same token, there could be a living wage, right? We should be asking for some sort of living wage, not unemployment. There should be something in place that was put in place years ago, right? And if you're allotting for $2 to $3 to $5 trillion, okay, even if you took a quarter of that and you put it into a fund, for a disaster fund for your country, right, and you distributed that equally, it would be about $70,000 a year if you do the math. I mean, went to art school. I'm not a math genius, right? But if you've got trillions of dollars, you have to invest some of that into your population, right? Everybody's so worried about big business, and big business, and we have to bail out big business. But let me ask you this. If you're a multi-billionaire, right? If you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation and you haven't figured out how to survive through a disaster, through a pandemic, through whatever, and you start taking loss, that's on you, okay? Government should only exist to help the little guy, the medium guy, and the semi big business, Joe's Tacos, okay? Maybe franchisees, owners. Those are small businesses. If you own a franchise, you're still technically a small business if you only own one franchise. Now, if you own 100 franchises, that's a little bit different, okay? But technically, that's still a small business. Nike, Starbucks, Intel, Great Plains, Akamai, all these big companies, those are big businesses, right? And they should have done everything they needed to do to put a safety net in place in the midst of a disaster, whether it be a war, whether it be whatever it is. 5 years, they should be able to sustain themselves without 1 cent from the government, right? But when you pull the lifeblood from the little guy, when you basically slice their neck, is what you're doing, right? And leave them out in the desert. That's the part that I don't understand. Okay? Now, if you want it that way and you like people being where they are, then it is what it is. Then acknowledge that, right? But don't act like you care. You know, when Mitch McConnell said, oh, the unemployment rate has gone down to, I don't know what it was, 13% from 15%, okay? It's still higher than it's ever been since the Great Depression. We have a pandemic. And the more people that are around each other, the longer this will continue, right? So it makes more sense. You take some of the money that you've printed, or excuse me, some of the money that you've allotted for this this pandemic, and you apply it towards the population, and you allow them to spend it on goods and services, right? And I mean, so it starts here, it goes here, and it ends up back here. Even more, because people start spending and they're like, oh, I gotta spend more. So they end up digging in even deeper, right? Because they feel good, right? Then when people start feeling good, what happens? There's less tension, right? There's less, I wanna beat you up because of your color. Or, oh, look, you've got this nice car, so I'm gonna come take that nice car from you, right? Money, like they say, is the root to all evil. We know that, right? But the reality is we need it. We need it, right? So my thought process, just from a normal dude, normal guy, is don't get rid of that. Don't get rid of the lifeblood for these people, okay? Until you have something better for them, you can't just take it away, okay? It's like throwing somebody out on the street and not, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I just thought I'd get this out there, just from a normal guy's perspective. Hope you guys all stay safe, and talk to you soon.